Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. Today is June 1st. The year is flying by so fast, halfway through it. And this is episode 48 of Simon and Acting Movie Reviews. And I'm here with my wife. Say hi.
Hey everyone, I'm AKDI, and we're gonna review this movie, Pig.
All right, and this is the 2021 Nicolas Cage film. We just finished watching it about an hour and a half ago, and I can say that I honestly liked it. Though it is a simple movie, it is a very emotional and moving film. What did you think of it?
I wasn't that impressed by it. Just gonna say my honest opinion.
Mm.
I didn't think that was like too much depth into the movie, and it just felt like it's a story about a guy and his pig.
I
And
think,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It was weird.
I
It
think if
wasn't
you,
weird, but yeah.
I think if you look at the film at just the superficial level, yes, it is a story about a man and his pig. But through just the few characters that are in it, it's a story about love and loss, not letting go and letting go, and growth, and the temporalness of our world. That's how I'm looking at it.
I
And
mean,
go ahead.
yeah, there are like those sort of character developments, but it's nothing too special. It's a man who lost his wife and now he's like living in the forest. There's a guy who lost his mother, can't get
Mhm.
along with his father, and I don't know. It's nothing like too special for me.
I see. I got you. I think the more we'll talk about it, maybe you'll see some of the depth in it. I caught a lot of the things in it, but I feel like you would like this film because you like cooking, you like food, and other movies we've watched about, chefs and food and stuff like that. You really enjoyed, like The Menu or Boiling Point. I feel like you're into those types of films.
Yeah, I am. I like that aspect of this movie, but it's not like there was a lot of cooking. Like, he cooked two times,
Hmm.
really. And it wasn't really like, and only the last time he cooked was really like shown.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there was that theme, but it's not like it was executed all the time.
Right. I feel like also maybe you're not feeling this film because we tried to watch John Wick 4, and this film, some people say, is like a parody of John Wick because in the John Wick films, he's going after the people that killed his dog or took his dog or something like that. Is that a part of it?
I did not know that about John Wick, and I did not know that this movie was like a parody, allegedly. But if I didn't know that, I would not have assumed that. So I don't think that's a part of it.
Right. Well, I really hate the John Wick series,
Me too.
but this film actually, does a lot of justice to this idea about a man willing to go to the ends of the earth to get back something he loves, right? And I really like this film. I like it. It's partially I like it because Nicolas Cage is one of my favorite actors. Like he's top three goated white male actors in my opinion, of my generation at least. Grew up watching him in a lot of films like Lord of War, and he's always been a goat to me. Have you been a Nick Cage fan?
No. I don't think I've watched any of his movies before this one,
Mm.
really. Maybe I've seen him like as a side character or something, but I know like he's a great actor, so I'm not saying anything about his acting and stuff. It's just I think the types of movies that he does is not exactly my style.
The thing is,
Um,
he does so many different types of movies. He does weird indie art films and then big budget Marvel cinematic films. Like he's sort of all over the place. He'll do anything for a check. He's like the Snoop Dogg of cinema.
does he do a lot of action movies?
He's done quite a few action movies. He's this strange like breed of actor that can do big budget leading man films, but then also like a really crappy uh, drama art film, which this film had the potential to be. It had the potential to be crappy, but I think it accidentally was good.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is like I don't watch a lot of action movies and I don't watch a lot of Marvel movies and stuff. I like did enjoy watching this movie, but it's just like not on my tops.
Yeah, he did a series of Marvel films. He was Ghost Rider. Do you know who Ghost Rider is?
No.
He's basically this motorcycle rider whose head turns into flames, and he's sent as like a the agent of Satan on Earth. So he's like a villain slash hero.
Okay, I cannot visualize Nicolas Cage like that.
Well, he can do
But
it. He can do it.
yeah, no,
Anyway,
I mean, he was a great actor in this movie. So
yeah. So basically, the film opens up with this guy in the forest, deep off in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon, and he's foraging for truffles with his pig. And for people that don't know, truffles are like a specific type of mushroom that are very, very valuable to chefs because of their unique taste, and people like the taste as well. Um, and the only way to get truffles actually is you can't grow them in a farm, you can't harvest them, through cultivation. You have to forage for them. That's the only way. And the only way to do it is with a pig, so they say. I don't know that much about it, but that's my background knowledge of it. What do you think about truffles? Because for me, they're not that delicious. I never saw the appeal. I've had truffle butter. I think I had a dish with actual truffles in it one time, but I didn't see the appeal. Kind of musty.
I mean, I might like it because I do like those musty food, but I never tried it, so I cannot comment on it. It just feels very, like you said, as we were watching the movie, you said it was overrated. And I kind of see it that way because every time I go to like a restaurant and it's like a tiny bit fancy,
Hmm.
and they would have like the truffle pasta or something like that, and the price is like double of everything. So
Yeah,
I'm like, why should I pay for just like something, a little sprinkle on top?
yeah. Maybe
So
we're not rich enough yet to have those expensive taste buds.
I'm always gonna love street food. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'll probably try it if I like come across to it. But yeah,
Yeah. But Avery Adams jumped into the chat. He left a comment with a picture of Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. Did you see it?
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay, he was younger. Okay.
Yeah, I think these films were made about 15 or 20 years ago. Yeah, Nick Cage is the man. He's a very talented actor. Talented but also strange in a way because he has a way of overacting in certain films and just bringing his weirdness to it. But I feel like people that hate Nicolas Cage for always being Nick Cage in a role, they don't have that same critique for like Denzel Washington. Like Denzel is the same guy in every movie, but
Mm.
people hate on Nick Cage for it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, he was a. I guess he still is an internet meme,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. I liked his acting, and it's the first time I saw him, so can't really say anything about that.
Yeah. But so this guy, his name is Rob. He lives basically in a shack in the deep off in the woods with his pig. The pig's name was what again? Did the pig have a name?
Not in the movie, no, but in real life, its name is Brandy.
Yes. And you were very surprised that Brandy had like its name in the credits and an understudy and a stunt double and a makeup artist. Like the pig was basically like a Hollywood star.
Yeah, yeah, but it didn't have a pig. It was just the pig.
Yeah. So basically, it's like this really ginger looking pig that he lives with in the shack, and they have like a close relationship. Rob sort of makes very simple foods. We see him making a pie at the beginning, like a truffle based pie, and him and the pig both share the food that they hunt for together. But then also he sells the truffles that he finds to this very rich young assholish kind of guy who kind of looks like Salt Bay. I feel like the character is based on Salt Bay because he has like the round, dark sunglasses, round frame, dark sunglasses, very skinny, looks ethnic, looks like he's from the Middle East or some that sort of descent. He pulls up in like a fancy yellow Camaro, which sticks out like a sore thumb in the Pacific Northwest where it's always gloomy and gray. And he buys a bunch of truffles from Rob. And he's basically like, how's it living out here? And Rob's like, it's good. You know what I mean? Rob doesn't say much, and they just do business that way. What did you think about the guy Amir when he first appeared on screen?
I mean, I don't know if he was based off of Salt Bay because he turns out to be actually like a good character, sort of. So I don't know if they would put like Salt Bay in that position, especially with the last, things that happened with him. But yeah, like he definitely looks like a rich kid, and I was like, okay, like, I didn't like dislike him because he was like making jokes sort of, but he obviously didn't care about the Robin and the pig. So I
Hmm.
was like, okay, I guess like this is what he does for business, like
Yeah.
selling truffles to fancy people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was kind of interesting because Amir pulls up in this very rich car, very expensive looking car, and Rob is living like in poverty in a shack. And I was like, okay, that's like the class difference between farmers and the people who take the resources that farmers have. And that's what I noticed at first. So I was like, damn, Rob is in an exploited situation. I didn't know where the film was going, but it looks like Rob is like a poor guy, and this guy makes millions off of the hard work that the pig and Rob do together. That's what I
Mm.
was thinking at first.
I mean, like there's at one point Amir says like, I can get you like one of those shower heads, right? Because Rob looks like he didn't take a shower for the last 50 years,
Hmm.
and he doesn't say anything, and then he basically just brings him this like basket full of food,
Hmm.
and he doesn't even like take money. He just takes food and stuff. So I was like, okay, like maybe he wants to be that way, like he wants to live like this. He doesn't want to shower and stuff like that. So I didn't really get like, oh, like poor Rob,
At
because
first,
he
I was
looks
thinking,
somewhat satisfied.
yeah, at first I was thinking poor Rob, until that dialogue happened. I'm just talking about when I first saw the car. But yeah, Rob is living like the Unabomber in the middle of nowhere, rejecting modern society and, rejecting all modern amenities. He basically wants to live off the land and live as natural as possible. So Rob and Amir separate later on that night. Rob goes to sleep, but then he wakes up when his pig is like at the door, you know, making squeaking noises like quack, 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 or whatever, stuff like that. And basically, some people burst into Rob's house while he's sleeping, smack him over the head, grab his pig, throw it in a bag, and Rob tries to fight back, but then they smack him again unconscious, and he wakes up to now his pig being gone. And he gets in his car, wipes off this old dusty truck, but the truck doesn't work when he starts to drive it, and then he ends up walking to town and makes a phone call to Amir to come pick him up. What did you think about all of that happened at that point?
um Honestly, like I thought the pig getting stolen or kidnapped was a bit like ridiculous. I don't know, I just couldn't take it that seriously. Like I understand the sentiment that okay, he loved the pig and that like that was his only friend in the woods and stuff like that. I get that, but I just didn't get like the whole competition around having the pig. It's not like it's the only truffle pig in the world. But I guess like the truffle he found was really good. So I don't know, like, it was a bit weird. I was like, I think I told you this as well. Like, this is like Taken, with Liam Neeson and stuff like that. But instead of the girl, it's like the pig that's being kidnapped and stuff. And now he's gonna like try to find it. And yeah, it was just like, I don't know. It was weird.
I disagree with you right there because I knew the immediate importance of stealing a truffle pig, right? Because and I think it also relates to later how important Rob is in the story. But a truffle pig is like one of those valuable commodities. It's like a valuable racehorse or like a goose that lays golden eggs, right? Like these things can earn you millions of dollars if you know how to work it right. And obviously, Rob had something that was very valuable because Amir pulled up in his very fancy car to him personally and looked like he was doing very well off of what him and the pig found. So obviously, stealing this truffle pig possibly is like one of the ways that somebody could turn their lives around or make more money than they're already making. And when we learn later about who Rob is, oh, it makes even more sense why somebody will want to take what he has, if that makes sense. You feel me?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, I understood like the pig was valuable. And yeah, maybe I'm not that into like the truffle business.
Hmm.
So I cannot see the importance maybe, but yeah, I mean, I didn't know where the film was going before this, but after this I was like, okay, so I'm guessing like he's going to be searching for the pig. and that's gonna be the story.
Right. My thing is like at that point when Rob gets smacked over the head and his pig gets taken, I'm like, okay, this is the part of the film where it becomes like an action film. You know, I was expecting at this point in the film, like eventually Rob was going to do some violence to get his pig back. Because that's how American movies usually go. We don't usually see somebody get something taken from them and not, uh, go back like 10 times harder. So I thought this was about to be Die Hard or something like that.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel that, but yeah, I didn't feel that because I was like, okay, it's a pig.
All right.
Like the
Well,
pig is cute and it's valuable, but it's a pig.
right, right. Well, moving on in the story, Amir picks up Rob from this diner in the middle of nowhere near Rob's house. And Rob is like, somebody stole my pig. I need to get the pig back. Amir is at first trying to like calm him down and be like, hey, man, it's not that big of a deal. You can just get another pig. And he's like, no, I want my pig. And then Amir ends up taking Rob to some other truffle dealer. And this truffle dealer is like wheeling and dealing, like, she's big boss. She's got a bunch of like customers out there. And Amir is like, hey, we need your help, and she's like, come back later. I ain't got time for you. And then Amir says, somebody stole Rob's pig. And then she goes like, son of a bitch. She like turns up and she's like, uh, let's find these motherfuckers who stole pigs. Because I guess they take this very seriously in the truffle industry. So then Rob is like, they were in a green car or something like that, a turquoise car. And so then the lady's like, I know exactly who to talk to. And then she pulls up into like some trailer park where like these white trash couple is living in like filth. And she's like, I know you motherfuckers took the pig. And they're like, we don't even got a pig, man. Leave us alone. And Rob is like, who's got it? And the guy is like, he was in a black car or something like that. And yeah, what did you think about that scene right there?
Yeah, I really like the diner scene because we understood that Rob hasn't actually seen another person than Amir in like 10 years because he goes in and asks for this like lady, and the lady has been dead for 10 years. So it's like I liked it because it was like, him interacting with people for the first time and stuff, and he was just like brutally honest, and yeah, like he was looking, he was bleeding on his head and stuff, but he did not really give a fuck about it. So I like those interactions. And it was also interesting to see like the truffle business and how it looked like, it was cocaine or something. And yeah, and it was interesting.
Yeah, I really like that scene when he pulls up to the lady and the lady is like, "Oh God, oh hell no, ain't nobody stealing pigs around this thing because it's like the cartel, like you said, it's the cocaine cartel, but in this case, it's the truffle mafia, and they gonna look out for each other." And it seemed like at this point in the film, like people were taking, Rob a bit more serious. Like as the scenes go by and you see how other people react to Rob, they seem to be, valuing his words or his presence more and more, right? So after Rob and Amir meet the white trash people, Rob is like, take me to the city. I got to go to the city. And at first, Amir is like, no, I can't take you to the city. I got a reputation to uphold. You haven't been in the city in a long time. And Amir is like, and Rob is like, no, you will take me to the city. And Amir seems like he's a bit afraid of Rob because Rob, once again, has this presence about him where he doesn't say much. He looks deathly serious. He does not smile at all. And plus, he looks like he did not bathe. So just to get him out of your presence, you're like, okay, I'll take you to the city. Just please put on some Old Spice. And so he takes Rob to the city, and Rob is like, I need $10 when they make it to Portland, Oregon at night. And Rob pulls up into like some, street food truck festival, and he goes into the back and talks to some guy. And this guy is like, who do you think you are? You haven't been around in a long time. Your name used to mean something. Now it doesn't mean anything anymore. And Rob is just like, where's my pig? And the guy's like, I ain't going to help you get your pig and stuff like that. And what did you think about that part?
Yeah, like I was wondering what was Rob's like history,
Mm.
and how did he ended up like becoming this nomad, sort of, not nomad, but wood person. I don't know what it's called, but and
A
in the beginning,
recluse.
what?
A recluse.
A recluse, yeah. And in the beginning, we do see him like playing a tape, and it's like a woman's voice, and you can probably guess like it was his wife or something.
Hmm.
But we don't know what happened. So then, like when he meets this guy in this scene, it was like, okay, I guess he was like someone important. We don't know still what it was, but probably somewhere in the food business.
Hmm.
Because he's like doing truffles and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, and that like he's been lost for several years. And yeah, I was also thinking, like, I don't know, I guess like once you made a name for yourself, even if you disappear and stuff like that, like people will still remember you if you were actually like good at it or something.
Yeah, I forgot about that part where he's like playing audio tapes at his house before the pig gets stolen. And it does seem like Rob is the person who rejects the modern world because something traumatic happened to him and he's trying to move on past it, right? Or rebuild a new life or just get away from the pain. So, yeah, when he does go back to the city, it seems like it's a bit hard for him because he has to face up to all these things he was trying to run away from, but he also built up a great reputation. And when people meet him again, they're kind of shocked that he's still around, but also sort of like, disappointed at what he has become because they realize his greatness has been squandered. And that's how I thought about that first interaction with the food truck guy.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, you know, I guess like one of the biggest things I realize in this movie is that people do equate like looks and I don't know, like your looks and your presence with your talent. Like if you're talented and if you're famous and you're like actually really good at what you're doing, they expect you to have certain looks or certain standards. And this guy, Rob, he didn't have those looks and he didn't have those standards, at least at that point. And yeah, and it's sort of like some of them rejected him and some of them actually still respected him.
Yeah. There was it's well, he sort of had a little bit of old white man privilege, right? Like if you see Bill Gates, it don't matter if Bill Gates is wearing Gucci or not. You gonna be like, damn, that's Bill Gates. Oh shit. You get what I'm saying? So Rob, because of his reputation, he was still able to, pop up in places and people were like, oh shit, Bill Gates is in the building. You get what I'm saying? But
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, they did look at him. A few of them looked at him and said, ugh, what happened to you? But
I
yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
sorry, but I just like I think the people who looked down at him were the people who were like his friends or rivals
Hmm.
back then. Like people actually, like people who actually knew him or something.
Right.
And the people who admired him were like a bit of like fans, like his old fans or the people who worked for him like as a fresh starter and things like that, that people who didn't really know him that well.
Right.
So
Well,
that also says something, I guess.
all right. Well, let's move on in the story because we're jumping a bit ahead. So basically,
Okay.
Rob and Amir go to this other restaurant, and Rob enters this restaurant, and he's like, "I'm trying to find the Portland Hotel," but Amir is like, "I'm sick of following you, man. There's no such thing as the Portland Hotel. You're a crazy old man, and I'm leaving you." And then Rob eventually tells Amir like, the Portland Hotel was built like in the 1950s and destroyed in the 80s or whatever, but the basement remains. And under the basement, the guy I just met, the food truck guy, he runs an underground fight club for chefs, which is one of the wildest twists that this movie had. And a bit disappointing because it didn't really go anywhere, really. But basically, Rob is like the place is in this restaurant's kitchen, and so Rob is like tearing down this shack that has like tomato paste and cans and stuff like that. And he eventually finds the entrance to the fight club. And Amir is just shocked. And Rob goes down there and there are like chefs like smacking each other in the face for a certain amount of money and stuff like that. And when Rob enters the place, everybody gets really quiet and they all start putting a lot of money down on the floor because I guess Rob was the guy who was whooping ass back in the day or getting his ass whooped. I don't know. Because Rob signs up to be, on the smack board. And basically, this short guy basically like punches him in the face repeatedly for like a good minute until the food truck guy whistles. And then I guess Rob earns a bunch of money for that. So I was a bit confused. Like, was Rob supposed to fight back, or was he supposed to just get smacked for a certain amount of money? What did you think about that scene?
For me, it's a loophole. Like, I have so many questions. It's like, okay, so the people who own the restaurant now, don't they know that there's a freaking underground fight club under the restaurant? So it's like, okay. And it's like this secret passage that you walk through, like Harry Potter land. It's like, it doesn't make sense. And then, okay, he goes there. Why is there a chef fight club to begin with? It's like they're already so violent in the kitchen, sometimes even physically, I would assume. So it's like, why do you need that fight club? And on top of that, I don't know what he got out of it. Like, okay, we understood that he was the big deal. Like, he was the big boss back then, and everybody started putting their money and stuff. And the guy who was doing the race, who was keeping the clock, he hated him too because it was supposed to be like 1 minute or something, and he waited like a good 30 seconds more
Mm-hmm.
until he blew the whistle. And then, like, what did he get? He got money.
Yeah. We didn't
um,
even see him take a bunch of money or anything like that.
yeah, like, I'm so confused because he was getting money from Amir, right? Amir was kind of giving him money already. So, like, why does he need money for himself now? I'm not sure. It was just like a plot hole for me.
Yeah, it's still a bit confusing. I didn't understand if Rob was supposed to fight back. I'm just going to run with this theory that Rob chose not to fight back to show that he has evolved and he's past that. Because I think in the previous fight clubs, he was the top dog. He would be the guy who would whoop everybody's ass, right? But he allowed this younger guy to whoop on him to show that, guys, I'm not a part of this world, but I'm here now and give me my goddamn pig back. And so he allowed this guy to take the money and win, but just letting people know that he's in the city. That's my theory.
Okay, well, I thought he was looking for his pig and he didn't really care about what other people thought about him.
Well,
Because,
go ahead.
yeah, because I was thinking, what did this gain for him to finding his pig, you know?
Well, he
Like,
asked the guy at the end when he gets beat up, he goes up to the top boss and says, "Where's my pig?" Right? Like he didn't fight back at all. Like he
hmm.
sort of helped this guy. He helped this guy, I guess, win money in the fight club. But then he is like, "Where's my pig?" Because he asked him the first time when he met him at the food truck and he had nothing to say. And now he's like, "Will you help me now? I just helped you out." Right? And it seems like Rob is the person who wants to give back to everybody, and he's past the point of fighting. He's past the point of trying to be the best or the number one guy. He just wants to help other people, right, and live a simple life. That's how I'm interpreting that.
Okay. Okay, now I see. Yeah. So he basically bribed him using his face and body, and got beaten and made him a bunch of money because people thought he was going to win, actually, because he used to beat a bunch of people back then. Okay, now it makes sense. But it
Yeah,
wasn't like that obvious. And it was just weird. I don't know.
yeah. So then the next thing happens. Basically, Rob and Amir leave the fight club. Rob is like fully like bloodied in the face, broken, everything like that. He sleeps at Amir's house on the couch and leaves a horrible, nasty brown stain on the couch. But Amir doesn't mind. The next morning, they wake up. Amir makes him French toast. And by the way, the movie is broken down into parts. And I think this part is like French toast and eggs or something. Like, was that the name?
Deconstructed scallions.
Deconstructed Scallions was part two.
Yes, like French toast and deconstructed scallions.
Okay. Anyway, so Amir is cooking, but he's not really that good of a cook, and he doesn't cook much. And then him and Rob have a very revelatory like conversation, and Amir reveals that growing up as a kid, his father was always busy working and stuff like that, and him and his dad and his mom would go out to dinners and have date nights together, but they would often come back from date nights pissed off at each other, yelling at each other and stuff like that. But one time they go out on a date night, and Amir's parents are just so happy. They're hella drunk, and they can't stop talking about this food that they ate at this restaurant in Portland that was amazing. And they kept talking about it for years and years and years and years. And Rob is like, "That's great to hear. What happened to them?" And then Amir says, "You know, my mother died. She tried to kill herself. She killed herself and stuff like that." And Rob is like, "Well, that's sad and stuff like that." And that's when we get to find out through that conversation, because Amir says, "You know, you used to be really great." And that's when we realize, okay, Rob used to be a top chef in Portland. He was like the guy. And basically, Amir looks up to Rob, even though up to this point in the film, he's sort of been like talking down to him and treating him like a nobody. But Amir actually loves Rob because he sort of made his family happy at least one time that he really remembers. And then Amir asks Rob, like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you living out there in the shack?" And then Rob goes off on this very long tangent about how in the Pacific Northwest there's this place is underwater. Like 4,000 years ago, all of California, Oregon, Washington was underwater, and then 4,000 years later, it will be underwater again. Every 200 years, there's a large earthquake that hits the Pacific Northwest, and there's going to be a huge tidal wave one day that will kill everybody and everything that lives in Portland. And so, yeah, why bother with this city? None of this is real. The way we're living now is not real and stuff like that. And then Amir is like, whoa, okay. And so that lets us into Rob's mind and how he sees the world and why he's living out in the shack. What did you think about that part?
Yeah, that was a nice conversation because we got like some character past, I guess, and some development because Robin was not like talking. And I remember in the beginning when we first see Amir, he calls Robin Robert because I don't think he knows his real name because
Mm-hmm.
maybe he just said Rob and he called him Robert. And then maybe in the Fight Club, he writes his name down on the wall, Robin Feld. And maybe that's when he realized he was this, famous chef.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, about the conversation, like this is the first time I feel like sympathy for Amir, right? And I'm like, okay, it's a bit of a classic plot. It's like the son of the rich guy, and of course the father doesn't love him or like treats him bad or something, and the mom was like so depressed because of either their relationship or she just had like depression or something, and she killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up with like no love from his father after his mom passed away and things like that. So it's a bit of a cliche, but it was heartfelt when they had that conversation. And I didn't know what like Rob was going with the whole earthquake and tsunami, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess like the thing I can get from it is that like there could be disasters that could happen any day, either like natural disasters or man-made disasters, but people choose to live their lives like nothing is ever going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could die like 1 minute later. Something could happen. We could have a heart attack. We could have a car accident the next day. But we still choose, like, we still hold on to grudges. We still dream, right? And we still, like, live like nothing is going to affect our future. And it felt like Rob's character sort of gave up on that because he experienced, like, losing a loved one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why like he chose to live that life because I already lost the most important thing in my life, and the other thing that is my life, I don't really care about it that much because it could end any moment.
Right, right. Yeah, I definitely think Robin has like this worldview that's like nihilistic, like nothing really matters. Why is any of this important? And he sort of let go of that this material world. And it's interesting to have characters like that because it's not common that we see characters who don't care about the world but don't hate it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
because Robin never came across like all of you suck, all of you are stupid. He always just felt like this person who felt more enlightened and wished people were like thinking like him, but not actually trying to force anybody to think like him. He just didn't want to be bothered, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, very revealing, very interesting to see that Robin had all that success, and Amir wasn't the asshole. Like you said, like I didn't start. I stopped hating Amir at that point, right? Because
Hmm.
that one conversation sort of let you in to his world. Like his father was Robert from The Skin I Live In, right? And that, if you follow me,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, you didn't think like his whole father and mother story was cliche?
Um, Cliche, yes, but serving a purpose, right?
Okay.
And when we see what happens later with Amir and his father later, it sort of is satisfying in some way, how it sort of ends up, because
Yeah.
that plot line isn't just out there. Like Amir doesn't just describe his father, and we never see him. We never get his side of the story or see how he acts with him. Right? It's sort
Hmm.
of useful later, right?
Yeah.
Moving on in the story, what happens next? Tell us.
Yeah, so the night before, Rob asks Amir to reserve a table in this restaurant. I believe it was called Finway or something like that.
Mhm.
And they go out for lunch to that restaurant, and yeah, the waiter brings like some fancy dish in, and lifts up the foggy plate, and Nicholas Cage's character just like eats it with his hands and stuff, and Amir is like, wow, like, can you keep it down? I have a reputation, like, can we just do this silently?
Wait, can I just give a little correction?
Yeah.
The thing is, Robin wanted to go to Fenway, but Amir is like, no, I can't take you to Fenway. That's my dad's restaurant, and even I'm not allowed in there, right? Because
Mm.
Amir and his father have that beef, and before then, Amir goes to like some other guy who works at Fenway, who works in the back like butchering meat, and he's like, "Can I get a reservation?" And even he can't get a reservation, even when he tries to sell his truffles for 50% less, right? So that goes to show that like Amir and his father definitely do not have a good relationship. But they end up going to this other restaurant called
Hmm.
Eurydices, something like
Yeah.
that. So go ahead.
Okay, sorry, yeah, I missed that part. But yeah, so they basically start eating. Like, they're not eating it, they're just sitting down, and Rob asks to see the chef, and the chef comes out, and first he doesn't recognize Rob, and they start like talking, and he's trying to like Amir is trying to explain what is happening, and then Amir says something like to Rob, like, tell him who you are, and then Rob just like lifts his face, and the chef sees him, and he's like, oh my God, Robin Feld, like, it's an honor to meet you, and he immediately sits down, and they open like a fancy bottle of wine and stuff like that, and they have like this conversation. So we learned that this chef used to work for Rob in his restaurant, but he only worked for 2 months because he like overcooked the pasta all the time. And yeah, like Robin is basically like a little bit of like roasting this guy who is the chef, and he's just like kind of smiling through it because I guess he's still scared of his chef. I don't know. I got that feeling. And yeah, they basically have this conversation, and Rob says like, "Why did you open this place? Like, why do you care about what these people think of you? You said you wanted to open like an original English pub." And the guy gets kind of like, like, I don't know, shocked and kind of sad. And then he ends up like asking, okay, I'm looking for my pig, where's my pig? And the guy knows, and he says like, this is a guy that you don't want to mess with. And he looks at Amir, which we kind of understand it's Amir's father who has the pig. So yeah,
Right, right, right.
what did you think about this whole conversation?
That scene at that restaurant was the best scene in the film, hands down. It definitely gave me a lot of flashbacks to the film The Menu, For anybody who hasn't seen it, it's that movie about these rich people that go to this island to eat with this very world-renowned chef. But basically, everybody dies at the end of the menu, at the end of the meal, right? Except for one person, right? And that part of the film made me feel like Robin could probably tell this guy to go hang himself, and he will probably do it. And this part of the film also reminded me of this series that we watched called The Bear, which is about a chef in Chicago opening up a restaurant, but he's trying to like keep it authentic to himself, but also he's traumatized by his past as a very exclusive chef, like one of those top chefs in the world and stuff like that. And this part of the film is like, okay, this is where acting is probably gonna really like it because it's like those stories colliding right here in this one
Hmm.
scene. You know what I mean? And I like films that are poking at the pretentiousness of chefs and cooking and high level cooking because I don't know a single person that would look at a plate that has like one dish on it covered in like cream that has like one mushroom, truffle, whatever, and be like, that looks delicious. I don't know one person that would do that. And I think that universally pisses off people. I don't know why, but hearing
Yeah.
about somebody pay $500 for a plate with a grape and a bay leaf on it, that just makes you mad, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I think I agree with that, and I like the fact that they pointed that out because Robin now became the type of person that cooks for himself, right? He does a
Hmm.
little tart here and there with the mushrooms, and he's not doing anything fancy. And it's like at the end of the day, you don't want to eat like this single blob of jello with a single slice of truffle on top. Like
Right.
you want to have a good burger, that's the comfort food, that's the food that speaks to your heart really, and
Hmm.
not like to your pretentious artistic side. And I'm not saying like those are not important, but those are just not our everyday realities,
Right.
and it's not as sincere as what you get from a street cart, or I don't know, like I don't know, your mom's cooking or whatever.
Right. Right.
And I think it's like almost like the same way with art and music and stuff, because there are some pieces of art that you would admire looking at in a museum, but you probably wouldn't want to put it in your house.
Hmm.
And then what you want to put in your house is something that you personally relate to or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and all those high level fancy foods, you do not want to put them in your mouth because they don't even look good. Like I cannot imagine spending $700 for a little teacup's worth of food. That's
I
insane.
mean, that's something that I want to do, but it's like I said, it's once in a lifetime experience. So I would want to have like that sort of experience to see like what is up with it.
Okay, you can only have that experience once or never have it, but you have to eat Jamie Oliver's food. Do you still do it?
No.
Okay, no, you
I'm
said
not
you wanted
eating
that.
Jamie Oliver.
You said you gotta eat. You said you want to do it one time, but it's Jamie Oliver doing 7 courses for you.
Oh God, why can't I get someone else?
No, no,
I
no.
don't want Jamie Oliver's food.
Okay, all right. You can have that experience or never have it in your life, but you have to eat variations of Gordon Ramsay's grilled cheese and fried rice.
No.
Yes.
Can I just have Gordon Ramsay's normal food and not
Okay.
the grilled cheese?
Okay. You can have this experience or never have it in your life, but it's Selena Gomez doing appetizers,
Oh
entrees,
God.
and dessert, and her friend, what's her name? The blonde hair, blue eyed girl.
I don't know her name.
Yeah, she is doing most of the work.
Oh, she doesn't do anything. She just drinks wines and snacks.
Exactly.
But no, no, I'm not doing that. She's not a cook. She's not like a professional cook.
Yes, she is. She's been trained by the best.
No, I'm talking about like underground, very good chef. That's the kind of like experience that I want. I don't want like the type of people that are on like chef's table or
Okay,
something.
okay. You can have this experience or never have it, but you have to have Salt Bay sprinkle you with salt every single time and slice the meat and drop it in your mouth.
What? What type of questions are these?
Yeah,
No.
because I could live the rest of my life without having some fancy. meal experience like that.
Of course, I can live my life too that way, but I'm just saying, if I do one day have the opportunity, like I'm not gonna go out of my way to have that experience.
Mm,
But if I'm rich one day, I would want to have that experience,
okay, I'll leave you
and I'll
alone.
probably have it with you because I want to share it with you.
Okay, but I'm gonna be pissed because I'm like, I need some Chinese food after this. We need to stop
Wow.
by
We can
McDonald's.
have it like in India, for example, you know? They have very good restaurants that are renowned in the world and stuff. So, like something like that.
I would actually thoroughly enjoy that. But I swear to God, if it's like a pinky's worth of food on a big ass dinner plate, I will flip the table over.
You know it's going to be like that, but it's going to be like 12 courses.
If that samosa is the size of a thumb, I'm pissed.
Well, we'll see, Simon. We'll
What type
see.
of samosa is this? Get this out of my face. But once again, that scene at the restaurant with the student who now became the master, but he has yet to be his true self with Robin breaking him down. It was one of the best scenes, but this film is tainted by my expectation going into it, thinking that violence would eventually happen. Because that whole time, there feels like there's this tension where Rob is going to flip over a table or bust a wine glass over somebody's head and be like, "Where's my fucking pig?" Like I was expecting that the entire film. Now, if I watch this film a second time, maybe I would enjoy it more, or maybe less. I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure because the threat of violence throughout it sort of kept you on edge. But if you watch it a second time, knowing that there is no violence that will happen, or going into it knowing that no violence will happen, you might watch this film as more of a melodramatic drama that's supposed to take you on an emotional ride instead of expecting this big explosion. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I honestly was not expecting a big explosion of like action or fighting or yelling. I just didn't get that from Rob's character, you know? And I mean, he did like had that like after right after this restaurant scene, now that he knows the guy who took his pig is Amir's father, he does have that explosion just a little bit.
Yeah, there is that part where him and Amir go to the yellow Camaro, and Rob is like, "Take me to your father," and Amir's like, "I swear to God, man, I didn't know, bro. I didn't know, man. Please, please, Rob." And Rob starts kicking in the yellow Camaro door, and Amir loses his shit. He's like, "Oh no, please, not the Camaro."
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
even that scene, it wasn't that explosive, because I feel like he just doesn't have that like. I mean, he loves his pig, but he just doesn't have that passion to communicate with people.
Uh huh.
I guess, or I don't know. Like he's just like, what do you? How do you say that? Like he's sort of separated from everyone, so I don't think he cares that much.
No,
Not
I think
not
he
about
did.
his pig, but just like about other people to yell
No,
at them.
no, I feel like because he was doing all of this for his pig, willing to get beat up in the face for it, willing to, go out into the city that he rejected for it. I thought he was willing to do whatever for the pig, like choke a bitch out for the pig. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He was willing to go to the ends of the earth for the pig. So that's what I was feeling like. But obviously, Rob is a bit more elevated. So Amir eventually like gives him the address for his father's house, and then Rob is like, "I'm gonna walk," because Amir refuses to take him to his father's house directly. So Rob like goes to like a neighborhood and like snatches a bike off of a porch, and a man approaches him, and Rob screams in the face like, "Ah!"
That was hilarious.
That was great. That's the Nicolas Cage acting. Like that's what makes him so special. That's why we love him because like only like Leo could do something like that and get away with it in a film.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It's
By the
like
way, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
no, it was just hilarious because like what are you gonna do? Like this, Tarzan looking man who smells like shit from 10 miles away is like stealing your bike and then he just yells at you and yeah, that I saw that happening. That was so
Yeah.
real.
The thing is, Portland is like one of those cities in America that has the most amount of homeless people, and a lot of
Hmm.
them are white. So it's like the average Portlandian is like used to that. Like that's a Tuesday. Like yeah, I got my bike stolen by some meth head. Like that's just normal. So
Yeah.
that's why the guy was like, you know what, you can have it, bro. You can have it.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I mean, Portland is like one of the cities that I've been to in the States, and yeah, I did see a lot of like white homeless people just smoking weed
Yeah.
and sleeping in the park.
Yeah, it's everywhere. By the way, speaking of that, I feel like there was a scene where Rob went to like some house and like there was this kid on the back and he was like playing with some musical instrument and then Rob starts talking to the kid about parsimons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I skipped that scene because I was like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? And it didn't. I didn't know if that was Rob's son or if that was his grandson or whatever. I don't know. Did you
No,
catch
I
that?
think that was just his old house and the little kid that's living in his old house now.
Uh,
Or like the kid of the family. And I don't know. That's what I thought. Like he just went to his old house and he's reminiscing of his wife and stuff.
Yeah, sort of didn't go anywhere. Like there are a few scenes here that don't go anywhere, or
Yeah.
some that leave you more confused.
I mean, it just I guess it shows us like grief,
Hmm.
and it feels like, when he was living in the forest in the woods with his pig and stuff, he didn't have those like reminders. Of course he still remembered every day though, because he had that like cassette of his like wife's voice and stuff like that. And I guess it's just saying maybe like that grief like doesn't really go away,
Hmm.
for some people at least. And we see the same with Amir, because there was that scene where Amir visits his mother, and we
Yeah.
find out that his mother is actually not dead, but she's like barely holding on, like just attached to a machine or something. We don't see her. So it's like the same for him.
Yeah, so there's an interesting scene after Robert steals the bike, and he doesn't even ride the bike. He just walks with the bike to
Yeah.
Amir's father's house. At least we don't see him ride the bike. He pulls up to Amir's father's mega mansion, like, and Amir's father, his name is Darius, and Darius lives like the Shah of Portland. And Darius allows Robin to enter the house. They sit down and have some scotch, and all Robin says is, "I want my pig back. Give me my pig." And Darius is like, Amir wasn't really meant for this business. Amir is going to get eaten up by this business. And he told me when he started working with you that he was very proud and stuff like that. But I'm going to take care of my son. My son doesn't need to be out here slinging truffles like Pablo Escobar. He needs to be working with me. And Robin's like, I don't care about any of that. I just want my pig. And Darius is like, I'll give you $10,000 for the pig. And then Rob says, no. I'll give you $20,000 for the pig. And Rob says, no. And then Darius says, I'll give you 20 million for the pig. And Rob is like, no. And basically, Darius says, you know what? Your time is done. Things have to move on and get out of my house. And before Darius turns his back on Robin forever, or at least at that point, Rob says to him, is that what your wife did, or is that how you treated her? Is that how you treated your wife, like as somebody that's disposable and meant to be let go of? Because Robin believes that you know Darius's wife, Amir's mother, is actually dead, but Robin doesn't know that Darius actually kept his wife alive, and he won't let go of her and stuff like that.
Well, he actually says something like, "Have you become like this after she died?"
Ah, yeah, that's what he
And
said,
then
something
and
like that.
then he says it back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, he thinks that she's dead, but she's actually not. And surprise, surprise, Rob doesn't commit any violence and just leaves the house. And I really thought at that point it was about to be a knife fight or like they were just going to start swinging on each other. But no, Robin just leaves the house. Amir is waiting for him outside with his yellow Camaro. What did you think about that conversation between those two guys?
Yeah, and just like you said earlier, we see that Amira's father, Darius, had another motive I don't know, like he was trying to keep his I don't know, son in check or under his wing, some sort of like sick controlling type of situation, or maybe he's like that way because he doesn't want to lose his son either, like he lost his wife.
Mm.
So yeah, but there was like a different motive. It's not like he wanted the truffle, the pig exactly, but it's just like a win-win situation for Darius, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I got, and yeah, I was like, I was thinking like this man is not gonna get his pig back because Darius is like, I don't care, man. Like I don't care what you're about to say or do, and I'll give you money. I'm not giving your pig back.
Mm. What was even crazier was that Darius was living like in a mega mansion in what looked like a upper middle class neighborhood with no gates. And I was like, ain't no security guard around here. Ain't no like uh 10-foot wall, like shrub bush wall or something like that. Like even when we were in like Arusha, Tanzania, like those middle class homes we stayed in, they at least had like a barrier. You know what I mean? Like anybody could just come knock on Darius's door. I don't
Wow, I
know.
mean, he's not doing anything illegal. He's
Yes, he
just
is.
like,
He's stealing pigs and smacking bitches.
is stealing pigs is like nobody's gonna sue you for that. I feel like.
Wow, wow. I think that is a part of the movie that is a bit ironic, right? Like, okay, the guy just admitted to stealing your pig, but nobody's gonna take you seriously if you call 911.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that like Rob is not gonna deal with that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Rob
guess.
is like, fuck the police.
By the way, just a fun fact. I
Tell
was
me.
searching for the most expensive truffle that was ever sold, and it's $330,000.
Shut up.
No, it was sold in 2007, and it was found in Italy.
That's insane. Was it like huge?
It was actually 1.3 kilos, so that's like 2 pounds,
Wow.
something
Okay,
like
that is
that.
kind of big, but that is extremely overvalued. 300,000 bones for a big ass mushroom?
Yep, and it was a white truffle. That's apparently like the most expensive one. I think like the normal white truffles go around 4,000 per pound or something, like just the regular ones. And then a guy called Stanley Ho from Hong Kong, he is a billionaire. He bought it, and he simultaneously auctioned in Macau, London, and Florence, and it's actually in like the Guinness World Records.
So wait, nobody ate it. People are
I,
just trading this mushroom back and forth like it's like a Hall of Fame baseball card.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who ate it. I
That's
think like he would have ate it a little bit. Like if you bought it, you should like at least nibble on it.
yo, cannibalism makes more sense than truffle trading.
But that's just crazy amount of money.
Yeah. One more thing I want to say about the Darius and Amir situation and Robin when they're introduced. Like once again, I think there is a part of this film that talks about the class difference and the dynamic between the people that extract the resources from the ground and the people that benefit from it in the marketplace. Because Darius obviously is like the richest person we see in this film, right? And he's probably spent his whole life, taking truffles or taking these expensive restaurants with these fancy menus and making him a multimillionaire. Uh, and I want to compare how he treated his wife to how Robin is treating his pig, right? Like Robin really loves his pig and he doesn't want to let go. And while Darius gives the appearance of somebody, and in Robin's mind is somebody that doesn't care about anything other than himself, Darius to some degree still loves his wife and doesn't want to let go of that as well because he's still holding on to her even though she can't talk or walk or do anything. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's all I got to
Yeah.
say about that.
Yeah, I do think like Darius loved his wife like in his own way, I guess. Because I mean they did, once again there is like that cliche about Darius that okay, he's like a money hungry guy who sort of overlooks his family for money and stuff like that, but then we also don't know like why his wife was like that. Was she
Mm.
depressed, or I don't know. And we don't know if it was necessarily because of him,
Hmm. Hmm.
because we just know that they fought all the time, but they stayed together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My guy Matt Villainy is up in here, up in the room. Shout out to him. He suggested this film. How are you?
Great, great. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. What did you think about that conversation between Darius and Robin? And were you expecting in this film that there was going to be some violence? Because I was expecting the entire time Robin to like eventually turn up on somebody. But what did you think?
Yeah, I did. Um, I was trying to repeat and watch the movie again last night, but I didn't finish it. But the last time I saw the movie was like, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was released. But yeah, but I wanted to get in on this because I really do like the movie.
Yeah, what did you like about the film in particular?
Uh, I think I like the bond between what was his name, Robin and the pig. Did the pig have a
Yeah.
name? I forgot.
We're calling the pig Brandy because if you watch the
Brandy.
credits, the pig actually is named Brandy.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, I like that bond, and Brandy. She had a job, and she liked doing the job. She liked Robin, and Robin also returned the love to her.
Now, were you expecting Robin to like I don't know shoot up a restaurant or like smack somebody to get his pig? Because I was watching this film expecting there to be some more action than there actually was. Or did you go into this film thinking, okay, this is just a drama and there isn't really going to be that much fighting and stuff like that? Oh, I don't know if he's there. You think he's there? Maybe the connection dropped.
I don't know. I don't
Oh, the
know.
connection
Yeah.
dropped.
Oh,
Oh, I couldn't hear what you said. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I expected there to be some violence. Actually, what I didn't expect was the pig to get stolen so early. When I rewatched it, or I rewatched the first part of it last night, I forgot how quickly things happened. Like, boom, the first 10 minutes, they steal the pig, they steal Brandy. So, yeah, I mean, after that, I would have expected him to, go postal on somebody because that was his lifeblood.
Hmm.
Brandy.
Yeah, I think thinking about Brandy as like his lifeblood is like a way of bringing more significance into it. Because like when we did this review at the beginning, we were starting it. Acty was like, I didn't really see it as that important, but I was like, that truffle pig is how he makes his money. You know.
Yeah, and and like y'all was saying, like how valuable truffles are, and and how hard it is to find them unless you have something that can sniff them out. So yeah, it's that's I was like, it's really serious business. I don't know what act he's on. That's serious, man.
okay, okay. Like, don't come at me. But the thing is, like, yeah, he makes money from this truffle pig, but he doesn't care about money. The reason why he cares about the pig is because it's his friend.
Hmm.
So it's like it's not even about money for him. It's just like way of survival for him. And I think even if he didn't earn money, he could like probably live off of like plants and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's not about the money. It's the thing's more important than the money to him.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just maybe it's just me, but I just don't know that much about truffles and stuff. So
Matt
Truff.
Villainy, if you
Uh-huh.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, truffle are expensive. Like I like this hot sauce, and it's made with truffle mushroom, and it's not cheap. So I know.
What's the name? Is it a brand of Tabasco, a Crystal, or something?
No, it's called truff hot sauce.
Truff hot sauce.
Yep.
That actually sounds good. Acty, would you try that?
sure, yeah. But I've heard that most of like truffle products that are not actual truffles are like fake.
It's like,
But I don't know. I guess you have to like dig up and do research.
yeah, because there's
Yeah.
like truffle flavor everything.
Yeah.
You can buy some truffle flavored Lay's for like $2.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are like mostly fake. I don't know.
Mm. But Matt Villainy, if you remember the part when Robin actually met the guy who stole the pig, and they have that conversation, like, what did you think about that part? Because I think that was one of the most important scenes in the film.
Shoot, I think yeah. When I was rewatching, I think I wait. It's the was it the guy? No, I don't remember because
It
I
was
didn't watch it all. Uh huh.
it was the guy, the Amir. Amir is the guy who's hanging out with Robin the entire time, and we find out that Amir's father stole the pig, and he's basically this big, restaurateur. He owns a bunch of restaurants, and he's become super successful. And he stole the pig to get his son out of the truffle business, and to also make himself richer.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember. So, I mean, that's I don't think that was a reason to steal a pig. I mean he had the money to get to do whatever. That wasn't the reason to steal a pig. He could have negotiated something else, I think. But I think he probably was just saying I got all this money and that means I got all this power, so he didn't care. Maybe that was
Hmm. That's crazy. You think that business really that cutthroat? Like people smacking each other over truffle pigs, going to war?
it.
I
Oh
don't.
man, I don't know, but could be. I don't know.
That's a dangerous business, man. At
Uh,
first, it looks fun, like you living out in the forest. You got your pig, you got everything you need. Next thing you know, the cartel busting down your door, talking about where the pig, motherfucker. It's crazy. Eh, But after that scene, actually, what happens? Like Amir and Robin are like sitting in front of the car in front
Yeah.
of Darius's house. But one of the most important things is said by Robin. What is it?
Yeah. He basically says that he doesn't need the pig to find the truffles because
Mm-hmm.
he can find it by looking at the trees, and it's about the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, I guess it's solidified that Robin doesn't really care about the truffles, and he cares more about the pig because it's his friend and stuff. So yeah, we learned that like he would still be able to do his business,
Right,
really.
right. There was a there was the part where he said, "I don't need the pig," and then Amir says, "Why? Why are you doing all this?" And then Robin says flatly, "Because I love her." And then they
Aww.
shoots back. It shoots back to Amir's face, and that was, I feel like, a very important way Amir reacted because you felt that because it seems like throughout Amir's life he's never really known love. Like his father doesn't really love him and his mother is gone. He probably had a strong relationship with her. But now Amir is like, this is what love looks like. This is what real love is. And he's like, that was very important, like how Amir delivered that facial expression. It was very subtle. What do you think?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to say Amir's like the actor who plays him. What was his name? Oh, Alex Wolf.
Hmm.
His facial expressions are spot on. Like when
Hmm.
he's like just shocked all the time because of what Rob is doing and stuff. His like he has the perfect facial expressions.
Hmm.
But that yeah, I don't know like if we can say it made Amir understand his father's grief a little bit.
Mm.
Because we heard Amir said when he was seeing his mother, like he wishes his father let her die, like
Mm.
just kills him, you know. And then we know that his father like prefers to keep her
Hmm.
because he loves her. Like
Hmm.
I don't know, like is there something? Is there like some sort of empathy, some understanding that Amir gains at that moment?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. And this is the part where I think the film really sorts of like it starts to bloom like a flower and you get these different interpretations of love because like Amir's version of love for his mother is letting her go. Yeah, she tried to kill herself, but let's not try to just keep her here for our sake. And Darius might be keeping his wife alive because he loves her and he doesn't want to let go. Or Darius could just be that controlling and that much of a dick. And meanwhile, you know, Meanwhile, Robin is showing love by saying, "I will do anything to try to get you back or to have her back and stuff like that." You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the part that I think is really beautiful about this film.
Yeah, I guess like they have different, very different like personalities. All of them
Hmm.
value different things in
Hmm.
life, I would say. So yeah, I like those like three different characters, and even though like two of them come from the same place,
Right.
actually like maybe all of them come from the same place, because if you look at Robin's past, he was in that food industry, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, like it's different how they evolved, separately, basically.
Right. Right. So then they move on to part three, and Robin is not giving up on not getting his pig back.
Yeah.
And part three is titled like a glass
The
of wine.
bird.
It's yeah, a bird, a salted baguette, and a bottle of wine or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So Amir is sent on a mission to go get a old bottle of wine from the tomb of Robin's ex-wife or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like a mansion, like another mansion of, I guess, like a lady, Jezebel.
Uh huh. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, basically, I guess her ashes are stored at this cemetery that is, exclusively meant for certain people or stuff like that. Amir go gets the bottle, and then he discovers that okay, Robin's wife passed away. Meanwhile, Robin is like at some bakery where some girl makes salted baguettes, and like him and her have a very deep conversation. But I really didn't get that part because I didn't know who that girl was. Was that his daughter? Was that I don't know who was that?
No, I think that was like his wife's friend or something, or their friend back then.
Hmm.
Because, yeah, I think I mean, we hear this later, but yeah, like, I guess Rob was also sort of like critiquing other people's food as well, because he was
Hmm.
such a big chef
Hmm.
and he liked certain things, and like this baguette was one of the things that he liked, because he
Hmm.
asked this lady like, do you still make those baguettes,
Hmm. Yeah.
and yeah, so he gets the baguette. They don't have like a long conversation really, but she gives her like another pastry to
Hmm.
eat, and Rob asks for another one for Amir,
Hmm.
and yeah, and he basically like gets up and leave, and she hugs him, and like sort of saying like, I know your pain is great,
Hmm.
type of way. And then he says, right before he leaves, he says like, you removed the curtains from the store, and
Hmm.
she says like, that's what Lori wanted, which is who is Rob's wife.
Hmm.
So yeah, like, and he says like, it looks better like this or something. So they
Right.
have like this sort of mutual understanding of Lori's loss,
Hmm.
I would say, and maybe like she was her best friend or something. That's the type of vibe that I got from them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, one of the weaknesses I would say of this film is that certain relationships are kind of hard to decipher on who exactly they are. And the way that scene is shot too, with Robin having that conversation with that pastry chef, is that it's shot from far away and there's never any close up, so it seems very distant and it's hard to get into it. There's never any like directly at the table shots. It's like you're peeking through the window, looking at these two people have a conversation about bread, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they are distant now, I think. So
Hmm.
maybe there was a reason why it was shot like that,
Right, right.
because they probably haven't seen each other for like since the funeral or something,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, but fast forwarding to the end. Basically, Amir and Rob go back to Darius's house, and while they're at Darius's house, they have a montage where they're cooking some fowl. I think it's guinea fowl or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It looked like a fancy bird, like a pheasant or something. It wasn't like a full chicken.
Yeah, it was not chicken or turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something different.
Yeah, so they start stewing up this bird and stuff like that, and they make this very fancy plate. Amir goes to his father and says, "We've made you dinner," and Darius is like, "Get out!" And then Amir opens the door and says, "Come, father, we've made you dinner," and then he eventually comes. And so Robin, Darius, and Amir are sitting down at the table. Robin starts eating, and then Darius starts to eat. And as he begins to eat, he says, "Damn, this food is good." His facial expressions tell it all. But then as he continues to eat and also drink the old wine, he begins to cry. Darius starts crying when he starts eating, and then he runs out of the room. And then Robin is like, up following him. But then Darius says, "Get out of my house! Get out of my house!" And Robin is like, "I remember every single meal I cooked for every single one of my patrons. And I remember your meal." And that was the same meal that Darius ate with his wife that Amir remembers, where him and his father and his wife didn't stop talking about it forever, right? And that was cooked by Robin. And Robin is like, "Please give me my pig." But then Darius admits that, the pig actually died during the kidnapping because the two junkies didn't know what they were doing. And so Robin breaks down in tears and starts crying. What did you think about that scene?
Yeah, I thought like the cooking scene was very nice, and I found out that it was a pan roasted pigeon with chanterelle mushrooms, pomme anne, and huckleberry sauce.
How did you find that? That's so random.
I found an interview with the food consultant of this movie.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, that scene was nice because I also really liked the bonds that Amir and Rob created, because it was as if like, I don't know, like it was like chef assistant, but it was also like father son sort of like dynamic. Like I know it's they're not father son, and he's probably not gonna take that role, but it was just like very sincere, that sort of like he is teaching Amir the one thing that he truly enjoys to do in this world,
Mm-hmm.
and he still does it to this day. And also, like before, we did hear in the beginning Amir say like, one day you're gonna die out here and I'm gonna be the one who finds you, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So it's like, even though they are like kind of distant strangers and just like doing business together, there is some sort of like relationship there that, especially with everything that happened, they just bonded, and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like he helped Amir sort of, not get revenge on Darius, but just like do something about Darius's, like, I guess, heartlessness.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like really cool of Robin to do that, and he also knew how to get like information about his pig by doing that. I guess like he was like, okay, I'm just gonna do whatever I do the best to get my pig.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he touched like the heart of Darius by doing that, and sort of recreating that moment he had with his wife
Mm-hmm.
back in his restaurant. So I really liked that scene. It was obviously like the high point of the film, one of the high points. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like the fact that the pig died,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, that was sad as fuck. Like,
Now,
why
a
would
part of
you why
me
would you let Nicolas Cage like fall into the ground like that?
Now, a part of me didn't believe Darius because I still get Snake vibes from him. That he just lied and said, "Yeah, the pig's dead. You're not gonna get it back." Like that's just classic evil businessman tactics, right?
Wait. Are you saying there's gonna be Pig 2, the sequel?
Pig Two, the sequel, the return of Brandy. Brandy's back.
Actually, Brandy died in real life.
Oh wow! Thanks, acting. This has
Sorry.
been.
She got COVID.
Wait, a pig got COVID?
Yeah, she got COVID and died, but she was actually pregnant during the filming of this movie, so she got like little baby pigs that looked like her.
Okay, so Brandy Two, the sequel, will be based on the babies of
Yeah.
Brandy. Okay. Uh,
And Nicolas Cage described Brandy as a diva.
as a diva, of course, with a name like Brandy, of course.
It's
If
so
you're
cute.
if you if you a thick ginger pig, of course everybody gonna try to hit
Wow. I swear I'm about to cry. Continue.
it. Why are you crying? Because Brandy's dead.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, she was delicious, man. She fed people.
Stop it.
But I agree with you about everything between Amir and Robin and how he was trying to get revenge. But I don't see it as revenge. I think he was trying to bridge that gap, right, between Amir and his father and making them bond over food. Because I think what Amir lost and what Darius lost and everybody else in this film lost about food is that it's supposed to bring people together. If you think back about the chef who had the food, the chefs fighting in the underground kitchen, if you think about the chef that he met who was making this fancy food when really he wanted to open a pub, and Darius and Amir and how they made all this money off of food, but now they're doing evil, shady business tactics. Like Robin is bringing people back down to earth. Like it's about good food, family, communication, that sort of stuff, right?
Mm.
And when Darius started crying, he was like remembering the purity of food because that one dinner made him love his wife for that one night. You get what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
Robin is like, now that I've touched your soul, give me back my fucking pig. And yeah, it was very sad to see Nicolas Cage break down like that. But I feel like that's like the core and heart of this movie. That scene there about how food brings people together, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah,
Because
go
if
ahead.
if you think about it, like Darius and Robin are two very different people, right? Darius
Hmm.
tries to control everything and sees everything as material,
Hmm.
while Robin is like not like that. He doesn't care about money. He doesn't have money. He cares about like everything more emotional, I guess, like his friendship with the pig and stuff. So, and food is something that could, make them sit at the same table. And it also, I think it also, like, their grief brings them together as well.
Definitely. I don't know if Matt Villainy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what did you think about the scene when the pig died, or when it was said that the pig died? How did you react to that?
I mean, if I can remember, I mean, I would have. I only put myself in Robin's shoes. I mean, I would have been very angry. Uh, but but I mean, it's kind of like you've had your pig abducted, then there's a chance that once you find it, then it might not be alive, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I was I was saddened by it.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever had a dog. Did you grow up with dogs?
I didn't
Hmm.
I didn't, but I mean I love dogs whenever I see one.
Right.
Some of my family had dogs, so
Hmm.
I know there's a bond between. It doesn't have to be a dog; it can be any animal. You can have a real bond between them.
Right, but I've had that experience like when your first pet dies, and I've had a few dogs die on me. Like that touches you. It's traumatic, right?
Yeah,
But you sort of have to let go eventually, right?
right. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think Robin did because he found out the pig died, but then later on in the film, he's like he just goes back to the cabin. He doesn't flash out. He doesn't turn up on Darius. He just lets it go. Like, what did you think about that? Because that's sort of how the film ends. Like, what did you think about the ending? You know?
right. I mean, it was. How I describe it, I guess, somber. And I guess I wonder, like, what is he gonna do now after he doesn't have this pig anymore? What is he gonna do? I mean, he he like said he didn't really I guess he didn't really need money or anything like that, but he still got life to live. What is he gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the hard part, because he does sit there at the edge of the bed after being told his pig is dead, and it's just that's it. This film's over, and now this man has to rebuild after getting hurt like that. I don't know. Acty, what did you think?
I think, are we talking about all the way at the ending?
Yeah, pretty much the ending. I mean, there is the conversation that Amir and Darius have where not Amir, uh, Amir and Robin have at the cafe where Robin says, "If I didn't look for the pig, she would still be alive in my mind." But then Amir says, "No, she'd be dead for real." and then Robin just sort of lets it go. But yeah, we're just talking about the ending in general.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, and I'll just add this, like after that we see Robin going back to his shack, and he listens to his wife's tape again. And that's how sort of like the movie ends, like just him sitting on the shack and listening to the tape. And I just thought, I don't know, like yes, Robin is very nihilistic, and but at the end it's like he still, he once again he experiences the magic of his creations, and then also he, I think, realizes that like death and loss is part of life,
Mm-hmm.
because he lost someone so important to him, his wife, and he probably think he wouldn't feel this hurt after that. You know, he, no one could ever hurt him that much again. But then, like when he loses his pig, like obviously it's not comparable to his wife, but
Mm-hmm.
he still got pretty fucking sad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think like because he lost his wife, it's like he knows how to pull himself back up again,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of accept that death is part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And but in order to do that, he also has to have some sort of like passion or some sort of strength to move on with life, and that strength is like the tape, or like just the thought of his wife, basically.
I think it's a bit of a tragedy and a bitter irony that this man who wanted to escape the evil that can come from depending on people or investing your love in people, that people came to his door and started fucking with him and brought all their pain onto him. Because Amir is mourning over his half dead mother. Darius is like living in this really sick, world of greed and money and power, and Robin is like, I don't want to be a part of any of this. And they both grab him and say, no, you're going to be a part of our bullshit. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's sort of a bitter tragedy. Like, you cannot escape humans wanting to fuck with you, if that makes sense. That's how I'm sort of looking at this film, if you feel me.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he couldn't escape like all the greed of other humans, right?
Hmm.
And he didn't see it as like, oh, they took away my livelihood, but
Hmm.
he saw it as they took away like one of the only things I cared about in this life.
Yeah. And it's sort of very rare to see a film where somebody gets wronged, especially in American cinema, and they don't get any get back. Because Robin gets no revenge. As far as we know, Darius continues to be a millionaire. Amir still continues to sell truffles, but Robin is the one left broken, and there's no sort of resolution to that, right?
I mean, he's still probably gonna keep on selling truffles, because he knows how to find them without the pig as well. And
Yeah.
possibly he might even get a new pig. But I don't know. Yeah, it was so sad because like the pig died. I was expecting that, this is what I was hoping because it's an American movie. I
Hmm.
thought like he was gonna go his to his shack,
Hmm.
and Amir was gonna like give him a little baby pig in a,
Hmm.
like wrapped in a, present,
Yeah.
and that like he's gonna have a new beginning or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that wasn't
Nope.
the case,
But
obviously.
nope, no new beginnings. You're at the end of your life. You've lost everything, and people are going to continue to fuck with you. That you just got to deal with
Yeah.
it. I've seen Turkish movies with happier endings. God damn.
Yeah,
All right.
it was sad.
Yeah, but there was a big question, asked with the question of if I never went to look for her, she would still be alive in my mind, right? And I think that's the classic question: is it better to have loved and lost, or never loved at all? And what do you think about that?
If you're asking me that question, my answer would be it's better to have loved and lost
Hmm.
rather than not love at all. Because I think experiencing that sort of thing is worth loss as well. And I don't particularly see loss as of course it's negative and it's shitty and it's hard, but it's also like I said before, it's part of life, and it does teach us something, and it makes us who we are. It makes us human, and it makes the love even more precious.
Mm,
So that in that sense, yes, I think it's better to have loved and lost.
I see. I see.
What about you?
As somebody who's been in love a few times, I could say I wish I had never fallen in love with a few different people. So I think it's better that to never have loved. Because let's think about this. Let's say, after you lived in a different timeline and you were with somebody who you really loved, but they really broke your heart, or they really did something bad to you, or you did something bad to them, or whatever, right? And then you regret it, right? That's something
Mm-hmm.
you wish that you could change in life. At least for me, that's how I would look at it. So
Yeah.
I think it's better to have never gone through that than to have horrible negative things that can happen.
I understand like the regret of loving like the wrong person, but it's like if you didn't do that with your time, then what would you have rather done? Like just have meaningless relationships then? Like I don't know. I think that teaches you more than just having one night stands or not getting into serious relationships because you're afraid of it, you know? Would you rather spend 5 year in a relationship and in the end they break your heart, or just 5 years just fucking random people and
Uh,
never having that like connection with anybody?
Actually, I think you're forgetting you're talking to a man.
I I mean I don't think like I don't see men as people who don't want emotional attachment.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you liked being I think you are a relationship person, Simon.
No, I
And I
am. I
think you
am.
like being in a relationship and being in love. So I don't think I don't know. I think you say that, but I'm
No,
not
I
sure if you would rather spend those years doing something else.
no,
Cuz
I
you
am.
did
I'm
that
just
too.
no, I'm saying I am. But the thing is, like, love causes people to do some of the worst things. Like, there's a thin line between love and hate. Somebody is married to their wife for 100 years, right? And then he ends up choking her out, right? God forbid, like, I would never do that to you. But I'm just saying that there's horrible stories of people doing horrible things to people they say they love, right? And that's why I'd say it's better to have never had that happen than to love and loss, because love and loss sometimes leads to tragedy and
Yeah,
bad
I mean
decisions.
that's the extreme case. It's not like it doesn't happen, but it is extreme. And um yeah, but the thing is if you never lived through those heartbreaks, you probably wouldn't be the person that you are today, and maybe I wouldn't have even liked you.
All right, there's a guy right now in jail who is like, if he never went through that heartbreak, he would still be free. There's a woman in
That's
jail
an
right now.
extreme
If
example. Most
but
people don't go to jail because of love.
Right, but Romeo killed himself because he couldn't love Juliet.
Okay, now you're talking about little literary tragedy,
I'm
so
just saying.
stop.
I'm just saying. I just have to put that out there. But I'll let the last word go to Matt Villainy. What's your score for this film? How would you score it if he's there? I don't know if he's there.
I scored 8.8.
8.8. Okay, okay. 8.8. That's a unique score. We haven't had any 8.8s before. Acty, what about you?
I am. I don't know. I liked talking about this movie a lot. I don't
Mhm.
know if I loved watching it as much as I liked talking about it. But I'm gonna give it a. I don't know, like a 7.
Yeah, 7 would be my score too. Like I said, there's some scenes that sort of make me feel weird, that take me out of it. But yeah, overall, great Nicolas Cage film. And thank you for the suggestion, Mad Villainy.
Okay.
All right. All right. Just left there. But next film up is Ex Machina. We're going to do another fan request, as people think we're not doing fan requests. That's our next one, episode 49. Y'all stay tuned. I got to head to work. Thank you, Acty, for coming through. Shout out to Avery Adams and Mad Villainy. Y'all be easy.